So I believe this cycle here is going to be the last and final time for you to make life-changing money in the crypto markets. Now, if you've ever lost money in crypto, or you made money but you never ended up selling, this is our year. This is the comeback season, and it's where this time around we're getting ready and we're just getting started. After this upcoming bull run is finished, understand this: crypto regulation will set in further. A majority of Bitcoin will then be held by large institutions who will be able to manipulate and control price action further. And those are just going to be a few reasons why I believe it'll be a lot harder, nearly impossible in the future for altcoins to do a 10x, 100x, or even 1000x like we'll see this year. So here's what you'll learn today. First, I'll be uncovering the biggest updates and headlines that you need to know about so that you're prepared for the next major catalysts that are coming soon. This here includes the Bitcoin halving, the Ethereum ETF approval, and more. Next, I'll share with you why I believe this crypto bull run will be the biggest we've ever seen, and go straight into my personal predictions on how I think the entire run is going to play out. Next, I'll share with you how you can actually make money in this bull market and what the exact steps would look like in order for you to discover those altcoin gems that have major potential, like the 10 or a 100x. Last but not least, I'll be covering my personal trading strategy, what I plan to do in order to hit over $1 million in profit, and how I'm going to be executing my entries, and most importantly, what my exit strategy is for this year as well. Now, since the last time I made one of these crypto updates here on the channel, there has been so much that has happened that we need to cover. Now, here are the highlights. First of all, Bitcoin ETFs that got approved have been a success. Now, since the Bitcoin ETF has launched just a little over a month ago, we've now seen an inflow of over $2.1 billion. This here is huge, and this shows that right now we are in a resilient market with a lot of this old money adding Bitcoin onto their balance sheets and adding it into their retirement funds. Even Fidelity, one of the largest financial institutions, is also now allocating spot Bitcoin ETF to their all-in-one conservative ETF. Companies even like Acorn, something I've been using for years, gave me a notification to consider even adding Bitcoin to more of my conservative fund. Next, the Bitcoin halving. This is going to be the biggest event that we've seen in crypto all year long, and it's going to happen in about 2 months from now. Now, the third major update here is with regards to Ethereum, and this is great because it seems like even now Ethereum is picking back up. Well, to make matters even better, Ethereum developers have announced that March 13th is going to be a massive date for Ethereum because of the next big network update called Denkin. This here is going to solve one of the biggest drawbacks in using Ethereum, which is reducing the cost for layer 2 transactions. Now, although that date is going to be important, especially if you're someone who's actively trading Ethereum, I think this date is even more critical, and this is when Ethereum's ETF could get approved, which, according to the deadline date that the SEC has filed with Grayscale Investments, it's going to be May 23rd. Now, these dates are so important where if you have anything even over a couple $1,000s in Ethereum, go ahead and put those days into the calendar app on your phone. That way you won't forget about the date coming up, and you can take the necessary action to make sure that you take advantage of the volatility that can come around those days. Remember, this happens all the time in crypto where we see buy the rumor, sell the news, and oftentimes if you are unable to buy in earlier, that could be a day where you could get the pullback you were looking for. Now, if you do have a lot of Ethereum as well, leading up to that date could be a time where you could consider taking some profits too off the table. Now, the real question out of all of this is, well, how likely is Bitcoin gonna hit an all-time high? Because if Bitcoin goes up, then all the altcoins will naturally go up too, and this is where we start to experience the effects of the true altcoin season. Now, based on my research, I think it's very likely that Bitcoin is going to break its all-time high soon, and here's why. First, the S&P 500 has been on an absolute monstrous tear, and recently it made another new all-time high. Look, as much as we want crypto and stocks to be separate, there is still heavy correlation where if stocks go up, crypto goes up, because naturally money from stocks always flows to crypto. Oftentimes we see more and more investors picking up activity on the stock market side, and then they want to look for something else with larger potential gains. We've seen this happen in countless amount of cycles, and if the S&P 500 and all the stocks continue to ride up and hit new all-time highs over and over again, I'm confident this here is going to fuel the crypto markets even further. Let's also put into perspective that Bitcoin right now is also about $200 billion in market cap away from the previous all-time high, and if we look at the money that even goes into stocks, Meta, just one single stock on one single trading day, was able to add over $200 billion this year. It's another reminder too that the crypto markets is still peanuts compared to the traditional capital markets. Now, the fact that we have the ETF and those ETFs are literally literally bringing all that old wrinkly money, things are priming up to where we could be seeing a new all-time high very soon. Going back into Bitcoin's market cap, right now it's sitting at over $1 trillion. And during the all-time high of when Bitcoin was around $69,000, the market cap then was only at $1.22 trillion. Like I mentioned earlier, we are just $200 billion away from hitting a new all-time high. And with these institutions coming in and accumulating Bitcoin at a rate of $4 to $6 billion a day in new inflows, if we just do some basic math on the principles of economics with supply and demand, here's what we're looking at. So at a pace of gaining $5 billion a day in inflow to Bitcoin, for us to get $200 billion in added market cap, we're just 40 trading days away. Now, say we get less, say those inflows just start slowing down dramatically and we end up getting $2.5 billion instead. Well, this means in 80 days, we would still see Bitcoin's market cap reaching what it reached before, and that's going to reflect on the price action of showing over 69,000 bucks. Now, if all things go according to plan, I believe Bitcoin will personally hit a new all-time high right around April 1st. Keep in mind though, things could go crazy at any point, and I am just a random guy in his YouTube studio here making these calls. I got no background in cryptology or astrophysics or nuclear plumbing, just a regular guy here, so just take my predictions with a grain of salt. Now, to touch up on some more bullish news, GBTC's selling pressure on Bitcoin, which heavily impacted Bitcoin's price after those ETFs got approved, is largely over. And not only that, FTX holders are also getting credited back in USD, and most likely we'll see those people buy back into the market immediately once they're able to get their funds. Now, if you combine all of that with the fact that it's all lining up for the date of April, and it's also in April where we have the halving, I don't know, guys, I think it means we really need to prepare soon. This is a rare occurrence where we're having just so many different dates all line up for the time of April coming up. And if I were to make any huge plays, it would be right now before we actually get the Bitcoin halving event and before we get all of this inflow coming into the market. Now, for the month of April, expect volatility, expect even a potential sell-off. Last year, when Bitcoin hit the all-time high, it crashed for 3 months. And after those 3 months is when it started to trend back up again until hitting the next all-time high once again. If I were to give more specific numbers, I personally see a potential peak at around $70,000 to maybe $74,000 before we see another sell-off. People want to take profits. And it's in that moment, if Bitcoin is able to catch its feet, we could then see the next leg up to over $100,000 to even $200,000. Now, let's take all the reasons I mentioned on why April could be insane, but let's also understand the fact that we're lining up this current bull market with the start of the federal government here in the US deciding to ease its interest rates. Look, when it comes to lowering interest rates here in the States, it's not a matter of if they're going to do it, it's a matter of when. Look, when feds cut interest rates, we get trillions of dollars of new liquidity. And not only that, this here is the simple catalyst that actually pulls up the S&P 500 more than any other factor. Now, something else that's been happening since the start of this year is a lot more layoffs. A lot of the biggest companies in the world have been laying off employees left and right. Now, I don't actually see this as a bad thing, and this is because a lot of these tech companies, when they lay off their employees, usually these employees, if they see a new opportunity, say in crypto while the markets go up, that's where we see even better talent going into this space. It's either that or a lot of employees who end up getting fired take a large severance pay, and they look to actually trade that into crypto too. Now, there are theories that retail money really doesn't move the needle much, but from what we've seen in the past with AMC, GameStop, even Dogecoin, PayPay, Shiba Inu, I personally believe that retail actually has a lot of power within this market. But if we combine that with the added fact that right now institutions are buying in more than ever, a $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year really isn't off the table. What we also saw happen in the last bull run was that companies were going manic. They were buying a bunch of Bitcoin because one, they get free marketing, and also it was a way for them to even out their balance sheets. Tesla, Visa, MicroStrategy, Shopify, these were a few of the major companies that were buying Bitcoin. Now, the added difference that I'm seeing this year is that we have even more powerful narratives that existed last year. Recently, we had the whole Apple VR headset come out, and we are going through unprecedented times. I'd say right now, we're literally living in the future, and if you combine that with the last reason here, that a lot of the bad actors were wiped out from the space in the previous cycle, it seems like the odds are in favor of Bitcoin doing better. So knowing all the facts, well, how can you actually capitalize in making as much money on the opportunity at hand? And you can also protect yourself from getting getting wrecked. Number one, let's pick a narrative. In these videos, I go over a ton of the different narratives. Find the one that makes sense to you and try to just focus on no more than 2 to 3 of them. Look, I've seen a lot of investors make the issue within the crypto markets to wanting to learn everything, whether it's NFTs, long versus short bias, spot leverage trading, or even just striving to understand every single narrative that's coming up. I think you end up overwhelming yourself, and it comes down to that saying, you become a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Now, the next way to win in this bull market, it sounds so simple, but it's a reminder that I know so many people need to hear, and it's that you need to actually enjoy the process. Look, if this bull market ends up lasting for the next 12 to 18 months, it's going to be difficult for you to succeed if every waking moment, none of this is making sense and it's grueling to you, and you're putting yourself through something that you genuinely don't enjoy. I think crypto itself can be really fun. If you're not understanding the NFT market, pull yourself back and look into something even more simple, like just general DeFi or some of the larger layer 1 projects. From here, you got your narratives down, you know what you want to focus on, you're enjoying the niche that you've picked. Well, from here, you want to trade like a robot. We talk about this a lot, but you want to have a plan for each trade and you want to stick to it. A lot of the times I've seen newer investors completely getting wrecked, losing everything because they FOMO, they get emotionally attached to certain projects. And usually when you're up $1,000, the next thing in most people's minds, okay, well, let me make $10,000, $20,000, and it just goes crazier. So what I mean by trading like a robot, it means you don't get greedy. Think about all the investors in the last bull market that waited too long to sell and then missed their opportunity to double or triple their portfolio. So learn to take profits. I'll go over at the end of this video on my own exit strategy to make this whole thing a lot easier, but there is going to be so much importance for you to learn how to trade like a robot, take emotions out if you're going to enter this market this year. Next important thing is to do your own research. Every single one of you, it doesn't matter if you're going to put $1 million into the market, 1,000, or even just $10, you should all find a way to default on doing research on the projects that you plan to invest in. Look, if that means I'm going to watch a Brian Jung video, I'm going to go through his picks, and then I'm going to look at their tokenomics, that's not bad right there. But there are some people who literally go about the space by just investing into the first project that they see on Twitter or that their buddy Sam from college told them about. Now, last but not least, if you do want to make a lot of money, it is very simple. You do need to get in on narratives early before retail and all the rest of the investors come into the space. Look, right now, I still think we're early. In the last bull market, I remember just the viewership that we were getting, and we're still at a fraction of that. Look, even right now, if I go on Google Trends, I type in crypto to see where we're trending at. We're at a 14. And picture this, in the last bull run when Bitcoin was hitting its all-time high, we were at 100. We're not even halfway there right now. And I'm telling you, from at least all the analytical data that we do here on the YouTube channel, the true retail money, they're not in yet. So now let's go over the top 10 altcoins that can make you at least a 10x. And let me start by telling you this, the list that I have is well over 10 altcoins, and the list that I have can do well over 10x. I bet you by the end of this cycle, we could look back and realize that even a number of these cryptos were able to shoot up 20, 30, 40, or even some of them, if they're able to really get lucky, get to that 100x level. Before I start, let me just tell you, crypto is crazy. It's insane. It's all very risky, very speculative, and most new investors will lose everything. And this is why I encourage every single one of you to always do your due diligence. Now, by the way, to be as transparent as possible in all of these videos, I've gone ahead and listed every single crypto that I've ever bought or had involvement in down below in the description. Obviously, with the channel my size, I'm going to get opportunities of cryptos that want me to buy in on their private sale or be an angel investor. And I want every single one of you guys to know anytime that is the case. Now, by the way, if you're watching other YouTube channels, just be careful because there are multiple channels out here that will go ahead and completely annihilate and obliterate you and getting you to buy in when it starts pumping and they start selling as soon as you guys buy. So if you ever have some weird intuitions, you're like, you know, something don't feel right, trust your gut. Usually, guys, if you feel something's off, chances are it is. Down below in the description, guys, I have a list of all my token holdings and any companies that I'm able to get in early on. You'll be able to see that, like the blockchain, fully transparent and public. All right, so going to the narratives for this year, here's what I think is heating up. First of all, last year we saw NFTs, layer 1s, DeFi, and metaverse coins that were all exploding. We had some gaming coins like even Axie Infinity, Sandbox. I mean, there was a handful. Gala Games, they were all having massive pumps. The difference back then is that those games weren't actually that great and people were just more excited for the fact that there was a crypto game coming out and there's a way that you can earn money while playing a video game. Like, it was mind-blowing. But I think in this current season, investors are able to see through that. And right now, the plays that I am personally looking at are the ones that are either VC funded, they actually have a really good concept, project, or they're ones that are actively still building within the space and their project developers aren't in it just to make a quick cash grab and then let the project die out. By the way, that actually happens very often in crypto, and it's going to get even more common as this year goes on. So for anyone who's new, if you don't know what GameFi is, it's very simple. For traditional games, you put money and your time, basically your life, into a game and you get nothing out of it. When it comes to crypto games, you can put time in it and what you get back is money. All right, so I mentioned Gala Games just now. I invested into this last cycle. I still think they were great because I didn't have time to play 100 different games, and a lot of them, even like Illuvium as an example, they released all these trailers and movies that looked sick, but you couldn't even play it. Gala Games, I actually played multiple games. I was able to buy skins and I was like, all right, I see potential here. So that is one crypto that has a pretty large market cap, but I still see them being able to pick up. Currently, Gala Games is actually underneath a lot of cryptos, and one project that we mentioned in our last video that's been blowing up has been Beam. So when it comes to crypto games, you can either invest into the game itself or you can invest into the infrastructure of where these games are going to be built. Now, I made this play with Beam a little while ago. I mentioned it to our Discord group. Back then it was at a penny. Right now it's doubled since there. A lot of our members are up at least 50%, and I think they're going to have a good shot in this bull run. Immutable X is another infrastructure token. I think they have huge potential as well, so don't sleep on it there. I know Ronin was really popping off in the last bull cycle. I would personally hold off on them this time around. Even GMT, this is a game where you could literally walk around and get paid in tokens. So it's called Step to Earn, and this was trending. A lot of people were making a lot of money, but when I do further research and I realize something like GMT had a massive pump like this, oftentimes there's a lot of insider trading. There were a lot of VCs who got into the project early. They hyped this up insanely, and then they just dumped on people like you. So we don't want none of that, okay? You would look at a chart like this and you're like, oh, okay, if it went up like that before in the past, it's probably gonna do it again this time. No, be very careful, guys. Look at the tokenomics. Look at how tokens are actually spread around to different people, because usually public investors are the ones that end up taking the L. The project developers are the ones that start selling off after their vesting period is over. And I do not want you guys to get wrecked. I really don't. All right, so a game that I recently bought, I put in, it was around $40,000 into it. It was right after they launched. This was Heroes Amavia. Now, this token has been pretty insane so far. They went up as high as $9.16. I believe this is where a lot of those early seed investors started to take profit. But just like how I predicted, it started to stabilize out. And I do believe this token here can go towards even $12, $15. They can break that easily. And I see this project hitting at least $20 if Bitcoin picks up even more. All right, so this is a project where I think they have a potential of doing what even Axie Infinity did in the past. What I love about them the most is that they are backed by some of the world-class partners. So I bought my bag off crypto.com. I'll have a link for them down below in the description, but you could also buy them on Coinbase and then getting the Coinbase wallet and just swapping it there. What you'll notice though is they have some insane VC firms, Animoca, Binance Labs, and anytime you see some of these exchanges that invest into them, that means they're going to be guaranteed to get listed on an exchange. And if you guys ever heard of the Coinbase effect, it pretty much means if a new altcoin project, it could be terrible if they get listed on Coinbase, because of how many investors Coinbase has on there, usually it just goes up because it got listed. Now, this game is also known to be a replica or very similar to Clash of Clans. So if you've ever played that game, this is definitely going to be right up your alley. But what's special about this is that you can literally download it right now in the App Store and on the Google Play Store and give it a try. I think right now, gaming infrastructure is still just a great solid way. I see it as almost like an ETF or a basket of just being involved into the gaming crypto space without having to put all your eggs into one basket. Now, if you're going to go all in though, especially on games, at least get an idea on if the game is successful. Now, I grew up, I was a little gaming nerd. I ain't gonna lie. My first YouTube channel, I was like 12 years old. I was playing Call of Duty and recording that, but I usually have a pretty good eye of mechanics and games that I think could go even bigger with the mainstream audience. Now, with Heroes, I am still rather bullish. This token literally just got released a week ago too, so I think there is massive potential here. Like always, do your own research and don't just ape into a project just because your boy here is talking about it on YouTube. All right, so next narrative here is AI. So AI was definitely picking up in the past few months, and I think right now we're seeing even more legit projects that are based around AI coming up, because what was happening is AI was coming up and then we had all these projects that existed and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we got some AI plans too. We're going to do some AI stuff. You should invest into our project. Now look, as most of you know, AI itself is broad, but what should ring a bell is just getting artificial intelligence or something that could help you or assist you in some way, shape, or form related to being an investor or in what we do within the crypto space. So as an example, ChatGPT, it's been around, it's still a trending topic. A lot of people are still finding out about it. Most people don't even know a simple thing like they got an app, you can talk to it, it could talk to you back. Well, the same principle of how ChatGPT and a lot of these AI tools are still picking up, we're definitely seeing this happen on the crypto side of things too. Within crypto, this could come in the form of improving user experience, scalability, even security. Now, there's a lot of projects. ICP, unfortunately, like I'll even be honest, guys, a lot of people talk about their biggest wins and they never talk about their biggest L's. Yeah, this was a massive L for me. Boy, whenever I see them, the emotions I get, just... Brian, we're just not going to think about it. This is one crypto I'd be very careful. There was so much VC manipulation and the most horrid dump that we've seen happen in the crypto space, but I think there are more viable projects right now. I really like Render. Injective Protocol has also been doing well. Near is not a bad choice either, but Render is the one that I recently put a bigger bag into. They have a solid community, and I do think moving forward this year, we could see Render easily breaking $10. Right now, they're number 46 in terms of market cap size. They're still less than $1 billion in market cap compared to Near or Injective, and I believe with what they have to offer in terms of their compatibility, and even the biggest narrative of all, those Apple VR headsets, what crypto project has the most compatible partnership? And I think that's going to be Render. Theta was a big crypto from last season, even the Graph, even Rose, which is towards the end of last cycle. But right now, what I'm seeing heating up, Akash Network, okay? Echelon Prime, that is moving. Those are two cryptos that have also been on my watch list. Another project that I'm more bullish on, Arkham Intelligence, they are well backed. They actually have the same VC investor, Sam Altman, who was the one that got into the whole AI space with ChatGPT and the one that recently came up in the news. This is in him talking about raising $7 trillion to bring the AI chip dream to life. Now, Arkham is very solid because they offer so much for free that most companies will have you pay them for. We'll talk about how to use them as a research tool as well. But the fact they have a token, and I believe they even have further plans of expanding what they do in the space, I think this here could be a very undervalued gem. Now, there's going to be a lot more AI projects popping up. I think these are going to be more frequent than even a lot of the gaming projects. And that's because gaming, you're going to need a lot more infrastructure. You're going to need a bigger team. They need to actually develop a game. So it's not easy to just put that all together overnight. But with AI, I think the process from start to finish is going to be on a macro scale of what it would take someone to develop a crypto gaming project. So just be on the lookout for scammers and projects that seem like pump and dumps. Try to do the best research that you can. But I do see AI still being very viable, just in the fact that we are right now going through one of the biggest transitory periods of our life where AI is coming into everyone's home. It's coming into our devices and people are seeing the value. All right, so the next narrative here that we got is real world assets. I love this narrative. And I think the most OGs will know VeChain was like the earliest adoption of the real world assets, where if you have no idea what this is, just I'll keep it very simple. Imagine you go to the Louis Vuitton store to buy a $5,000 purse. Well, you buy it and you come home and you realize it's fake. You're like, oh, how could it be fake? How could that happen? Well, when it gets manufactured overseas, then it gets shipped on the way to 3 different companies, then it goes in another box truck and then on a plane and then on a truck to end up at the store that you bought it from. There could be a lot of moments where literally it could have been swapped. The manufacturer could have had it built in another factory. There could be a lot of moments within the supply chain where things go wrong. So VeChain was a token where they're implementing real world little assets, basically putting a chip in some of these items that then get automatically recorded on the blockchain so that you could verify where it was built, where it's been, and so that it wouldn't be swapped. And when it comes to luxury goods, it would be more consistent. Now, that's a token. I mean, I'm still holding it, but it has not been doing well. I'm not sure if that even is going to do well this season around. So I would definitely consider looking at some of the newer narratives coming up. So Avalanche and Chainlink, I would not say these are direct real world asset tokens, but these are obviously needed in order for us to connect them to some of these other projects. The one that I've been recently looking into, and I believe we actually mentioned it in our last video, has been Rio. Now, this one is way more risky, but it has been giving some pretty solid returns since we made our entry in. And where I saw the opportunity, at least with this project, is that the market cap was still very low. It's not only that though, they do have a ton of partnerships, different VC firms that are backing them. And it's a narrative that I think most people can pick up pretty easy. Next narrative to be on the lookout for is BRC20. This is just surrounded by the fact that Bitcoin, if it ends up doing really well, if it ends up being popular, people are going to look towards utilizing Bitcoin's network and some of the other tokens underneath this project even further. To combat BRC20, the new new recent thing is ERC 404, but as you see all this red and green, there are so many pump and dumps on this that I don't even want to be close to. What has gotten everyone crazy recently though is Pandora. They're currently at $17,000 per token. And with Pandora leading the way, a lot of people want to experience the next pump that they saw, at least with this token, where it started at under $5,000 when they came out, and it's currently at $17,000 now. That means in less than a month, they went up over 311%. But with a lot of these narratives, please be careful. If you're not able to get in super early, I would not feel any type of FOMO at all. Going back into the BRC 20s, a recent play that I bought into was Multibit. Now this took actually a pretty hard dump, but it's only now starting to rebound. So I think there is opportunity, at least with this project here. And the fully diluted market cap is not too far off from the actual supply that exists currently. Aside from that, you're gonna see a ton of different play options. Ordinals is definitely the most popular one. Even with their market cap right now, it beats out most of these other plays. So if you're looking for high risk, high reward opportunities, it's usually going to be more of these lower cap projects, but please be careful. For me personally, if it's something as low as this, I reduce my risk as much as possible, where I will not invest more than $1,000. Like that is a lot. And anytime I buy something like this, it'll probably be $500 or less. Next narrative, where you really want to make money, this is where it's going to be, but it is just completely ridiculous. I'll explain in a bit, but let me just go over a few cryptos first. This is going to be meme coins. In any given bull market, meme coins have always gone up the highest. And I know a lot of people like saying meme coins are absolute dog water, they're dookie poop coins. I get it. But if you're able to make $1 million from trading a dookie poop coin, I'll get my hands dirty touching those poop coins any day if it means I'm going to be able to see a positive return on investment. I actually still think if you love a narrative, go ahead, that's fine. But just do not sleep and neglect on the meme coin market. Meme coins oftentimes just have super simple tokenomics. They act upon the fear of missing out on all different types of investors. And even with what we saw happen with Dogecoin, this was the one crypto that was literally on SNL. Elon Musk had a whole little craze about it. I mean, it was on everyone's radar at one point, and the return that you could see from a project going mainstream like this has the best potential within this narrative. So if you don't want to make money, don't look at meme coins. It's fine. You can still invest into so many different actual viable narratives where these projects are going to build for the next few years and continue moving. Or if you want to gamble a little bit into the markets and play around, meme coins are nuts. Even as an example, I talked about Bonk a little while back, and some of our analysts within our Discord group were literally trading Bonk, making 1,000+% returns consistently. Now, some of this I think is still very early, but just look at all the liquidity stuck on Dogecoin. These are all retail investors. Even me, I have my Dogecoin still. Luckily, it's always up because I bought it way earlier on. But if we were to have a little bit of a Hail Mary, if you take any one of these other projects that have a smaller market cap than what Dogecoin is, and it's able to meet the potential in this upcoming bull run, I believe you're going to be able to see some pretty significant gains in the shortest amount of time. Just be careful, okay? So I'm personally not touching PayPay this time around. I'm not touching Shiba Inu. It's actually interesting. Bonk flipped PayPay, and what this means is when a meme coin hits, usually it'll hit once, but after that, we don't see it oftentimes moving forward again. Out of all the plays, I think the one that's like funny and cute is Dog with Hat. I still think this is rather early, but it's a meme coin. At the end of the day, the project developers and their friends and family are going to make the most amount of money, but it doesn't mean that you can't either. Even with Dog with Hat, which I literally entered about 1 to 2 weeks back, I've already near doubled my money, and currently it's at over 87%. Usually though, if you do want to buy any meme coin, you are going to have to use something like Coinbase Wallet or Crypto.com or another decentralized exchange. If you have a MetaMask, most of the time you can even swap it on there. But where we're seeing a lot of the money flowing is that Solana meme coins really are picking up right now. I think they'll continue getting traction, but don't sleep on those Ethereum based meme coins either. If you're trying to go for the one that's more early, I think it's usually on Solana's side. And as more and more retail gets into the space, those are the people that are going to fill up your bags. Just make sure you do not marry those bags. And when it comes to holding meme coins, really consider selling when you're getting at least 5x or more on your profit. If we want to look at a case study for Dogecoin, we can easily look at the Dogecoin millionaire, where all he had to do was sell. For that entire period of time, he was up millions of dollars. Remember, 99% of meme coins are scams. Once they pump, they will usually not return. If you're able to make even a little bit of profit, I think that's where the value is. And what will happen is after it pumps and it dumps, it usually gets stuck around that area because people have acquired such a large loss and and they're just like, it's not worth me selling $10 of bonk pay whatever coin. I want to give you guys one more tip too. If you ever sell a crypto, remove it from your watch list. Even outside of that, if you decide, hey, I'm just out of crypto, I hit my financial goals, I wanted to buy myself a Tesla and I wanted to buy myself a new house, and I've made $300,000 from crypto. Once you hit your goal and you set your mark, remove all the apps, block the keyword Bitcoin, delete Twitter, delete Instagram, get off of social media. A lot of people end up selling and they just still keep watching their tokens. And that's the worst thing that you could do in a market where it could go up even further, where you might even buy back in and then lose all your gains. Now, so far this year, I've made a pretty decent amount from crypto already. Some of these were bags that I've held for many, many years. And some of these are altcoin plays that I literally entered just a week ago. Now, I've been getting a ton of messages. Brian, I want to check out your membership group. I want to see what these trades are all about. I want to see how your analysts are really making money. Do you offer a free trial? Well, for this video here, if you guys check out the link down below, I'm gonna give you a 3-day free trial. You can go through all my different plays. You can see literally real time of me buying in, seeing where they are at now. You can do your own research. You can also ask my analysts questions, communicate with our other community members, or even just check out our win trade section, because that's also been getting crazy. Now, lately, we've been getting a lot of members as the market has been picking up. And because of this, unfortunately, we're gonna have to close out the group. So I'm gonna keep it open until March, but when March comes around, we're gonna close it off so we can make upgrades to the server. We can make sure that anyone who got in is fully taken care of. We're gonna make sure that we continue amplifying and reinvesting into our own team and all the project tools that we have. So if you guys wanna go ahead, at least check out the free trial and know that in March, we're gonna close it off. The link for the group is called Kaizen, is down below in the description. Now, by the way, you don't have to join. I think there's still enough free value on YouTube, but if you wanna take it a layer further and you're serious about making money in crypto, I believe the investment that you put into our membership group is gonna be able to give you positive ROI. So moving forward, how can you now start your research process? You have a basic general list of the narratives of the coins. What can you do to verify and really increase the odds on whatever you decide to trade at your own peril is going to be able to do well? So research tool number one, DeFi Llama. All right, so to use DeFi Llama, you can go ahead and see how much total value locked is within a lot of these different chains and protocols. What I would personally do is start looking at which chains have a lot of money locked up on there and where the market cap discrepancy lies. So as an example, Rocket Pool and Spark, they have very similar total value locked, all the money that is within their project, but then one project is about half the market cap of the other. You're going to have an advantage there, because what usually happens is when there's a lot of money locked up on these protocols, eventually people will have to cash it out. They need to move it around. They start swapping. They actually go ahead and use these protocols, but money eventually goes back up to the top of where these projects start from. This was one method that helped us find some gems in the last bull run. And it's something where if you have an interest in DeFi, you can look into it further. Look, now I know DeFi Llama is not meant for most beginners. That's okay, because this one is though. This is the altcoin season indicator. Basically, when this is going into full altcoin season mode, it means your bags, any altcoins you bought, they should all be near doubling every single week. Now, the altcoin season indicator basically tells us whether or not you should have your money in Bitcoin or in altcoins. This is based on the typical altcoin cycle where we see money going into Bitcoin, then it flows into Ethereum, and then it trickles down into the rest of the different altcoins. The reason why this is a thing is because most new people who get into crypto get into Bitcoin first. Then they're like, oh, I made some money with Bitcoin. Let me try Ethereum. Oh, I tried Ethereum. It was very good. Let me try some other altcoins. And we start seeing that money flow down. The good news here, guys, remember all that old wrinkly money we talked about, the retirement funds? Yeah, if they see positive ROI on Bitcoin, it's those same people that could be like, hey, let me just cash out a little bit of my retirement fund to check out some of these different altcoins that could maybe do a 10 to 20x. So pair up the altcoin season indicator with the crypto fear and greed index. Anytime we see extreme greed in the market, consider taking profits off the table. It's as easy as that. Another resource that I really like is the Bitcoin rainbow chart. And literally this here will tell you where we are with the price of Bitcoin and what you should do. If Bitcoin currently today was at over $200,000, you would be in maximum bubble territory, meaning you should sell. Right now, Bitcoin is still within the range of still cheap and accumulate. And this here is simply just based off of Bitcoin and previous cycles. So think of this as technical analysis for children. Anyways, right now, this is indicating that we are still rather early and that there is big potential for where this market could end up. Last but not least, Arkham Intelligence. This is great if you want to go ahead and find different wallet addresses that have found success in the past. Arkham allows you to just really get in touch with on-chain analysis, and you could do things as simple as, let's see what someone like Vitalik Buterin, the developer of Ethereum, is trading. If Vitalik starts making some really wonky moves into random altcoins, if we're able to go down, and first of all, you can see actually their entire portfolio that is public here. You can see where it's getting held on different exchanges, and we could see what different cryptos he would trade on this wallet. Now, if he made any swaps and it was some like random meme coin, that could be a sign to get in early. Now, you could use this for other influencers, YouTubers. You could do it for Twitter accounts that you think are really hitting the nail and are finding projects early. The beauty about crypto is that everything is on chain, meaning it's public information. And if you can do just a little bit of digging, you can find out and back up your investment thesis before making your trade. Last but not least, my favorite research method is just going on Twitter. You can have Twitter's algorithm curate it strictly so that it's showing you these underrated crypto gems. Anytime a thread gets over 50 to 100,000 views, I think it's rather too late, but even a lot of those can still prove out to give you high payouts. It is on Twitter where everything starts first. It's on Twitter where you can discover a lot of these newer projects starting out, trying to build a bit of community, and it's from there where I think you can find a lot of those 100x gems. Last but not least, I love Dropstab. The principle is simple. Cryptos go into something called the accumulation zone, where anytime we see an increase in volume, usually we see a breakout or a price action moving up higher then. Now, there are some cryptos, if they accumulated like 2 days ago and they haven't received a big massive pump, it means that there's a possibility this one could be wiring up for that next slingshot and leg up. So it's here where you can really start your research process. And if you notice any cryptos from maybe some of the narratives that we mentioned, you could definitely double up here. Now, when it comes to investing, especially in the crypto space, making entries is important, but knowing your own exit strategy is just as important, if not more. For you to secure any profits, you got to know when to sell. So for this year, here's what I'm doing. When it comes to entries, I've been accumulating Bitcoin and Ethereum now for years. I've been able to get a very good cost average into the market. And if I wanted to play more conservatively, I would just leave my Bitcoin and Ethereum in there. I'd probably stake my Ethereum too so I can earn additional interest, but I would just leave it, set my price target. For me personally, right now at this moment, it's looking at to be around the $70,000 to $80,000 zone. But this also just depends on how close I get to my price targets on what I want to make in this market. I think just with how hot altcoins are already getting without big retail money still coming in, a 3 to 5x within my portfolio is very viable. At the moment, what I'm doing is just swapping a lot of altcoins and finding the next new narrative. I think out of everything, the most important for you to have the highest advantage in just winning in this market is to try to get in early as possible on a lot of those developing altcoin narratives that are heating up now. So from there, we got our exit strategy. And for me, I use 2 indicators that I've back tested with over 99.99% reliability. And for this one here, by the way, you guys can use it too. I'll give you permission, okay? So if I go out in public and people don't know who I am, and anyone over the age of 50 in real life asks me about Cardano or any other crypto that is not Bitcoin or Ethereum, then I believe from right there, the clock is ticking. We have 2 weeks from that point before things will severely dump. Now, another indicator, when these crypto videos you're watching here end up getting over 600,000 views, I'm gonna get a little worried. If these same videos are now on track to getting 1 million views, the countdown timer has started. That means we got a lot of people looking up on YouTube, trying to get in on the next top altcoins as well. And the early ones, yes, you watching this video right here today, you want to consider start moving things off the table. Right now, our videos are doing like around 400K views, so I'd say we're just about halfway there. Now, by the way, I'm only half kidding about the first exit strategy, but if I look back in the last bull market, as soon as I had people who are a generation older asking about other altcoins, we literally saw the market take the worst bear market turn that I've ever witnessed in the history of being invested into the space. All right, real talk though. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if everyone's expecting Bitcoin to do 100 to 250K, really start consider taking profits after we break the last year's all-time high. Now, Bitcoin can always go up, and we could be in finally the start to the super cycle, meaning Bitcoin just only goes up and accumulates from here. But if one thing is for certain, it's that we've always moved in cycles, whether it was stocks or whether it was crypto, we have always gotten a bull market followed by a bear market. So here's my general rule of thumb. If a low cap altcoin performs a 10x, I'm going to average out. If mid caps and first page altcoins on CoinMarketCap start riding up, I usually hold these as long as I'm holding my Bitcoin. Now look, it is nearly impossible for anyone to time the top of this market. So don't try to sell all things out at once. You can always average out. You can sell different parts out, or at least get your own money you invested in there and you roll with house money. House money is going to be the crypto gains that you already made this year, so that you are literally risking none of your own capital at that point. Now, finally, let me just give some words of wisdom here. Since last year, I've been reading the Bible from front to cover. Right now, we're in the month of February with my men's small group, and I just wrapped up the book of Leviticus. And in Leviticus, we have a group of people called the Israelites, and they were instructed to prepare the land, work for it for 6 years, and let it rest on the 7th. Now, through reading the book of Leviticus, I found 3 points that I think directly relate to anyone investing into the crypto market. First of all, you need to lay the groundwork. So in Leviticus, the Israelites were instructed to prepare their land, work for it for 6 years, and then on the 7th, let it rest. This here emphasizes the importance of thoughtful preparation and working during the season. Just like in the crypto markets, you can't wait the 7th year, just hop in without doing any of the work. You need to sometimes lose money. You need to sometimes put more time and have a few nights where you get less than 8 hours of sleep by understanding the markets more, by doing further due diligence on tokenomics and seeing who the project founders are and seeing what the community is really like. Now, the Israelites also had to trust that the harvest of the 6th year would sustain them through the entire 7th year. And this here would require patience, faith, and a willingness to wait. So in crypto, obviously you guys know it's known for volatility and unpredictability. And this is where patience within the crypto markets is so crucial. You need to recognize that you're not always going to hit a 100x every single time with everything that you buy. Significant returns generally within the space will happen when you're least expecting it. Just as the land needed to rest, markets often need time to correct and grow. So if this is your first time getting into the crypto space, there's a good chance that you're going to fall into greed if you don't keep yourself in check, meaning you would lose everything. I think right now a majority of our viewers, and I could be completely wrong, so you guys let me know, but I think it's a lot of people who have been invested since the last year, and these are people, including myself, who have been waiting for a very long time to finally cash out. It seems like generally the big winners in crypto have all gone through at least one bull market and one bear market where they ended up not being able to cash out, losing their money, and then finally recouping it in the next time. Now, I'm hoping that this year is the 7th year for all of you. I appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, like this video, follow me on Twitter and on Instagram if you haven't done so already. Check out the links down below in the description. I got an offer from Coinbase, Crypto.com, and even our membership group down below. Love y'all. Peace.